Hey guys, so I'm gonna do a video on how to make a blueberry pie, but because of lockdown it's so hard just while everybody's at home to actually do a decent video. So we're just gonna do it this way. No, I have not been crying. I've been in the wars. I have been an avid gardener since lockdown has begun, and I was digging in the garden and the just a huge gust of wind came up and I got grit all in my eye and I scratched my eyeballs, so it's great. And then just in the beginning of lockdown I broke my pinky toe, so it's just been great fun. Anyway, I'll show you how this is made and then I will give you the recipe in my on my blog, so all of the ingredients will be listed there. This is including the pie dough. It's not near as difficult as people always make it out. All right, so hope you enjoy. Right, so for this recipe we're needing 800 grams of blueberries. So these are just Tesco frozen blueberries and these are 400 grams a pack, so just 2 of those. You can use fresh as well. I just find the frozen ones, you'll always have them on hand. Well, I do. We always have a lot of fruit in the house. Frozen fruit. Okay. And then I have 100 grams of sugar. It's just regular. I use granulated. You can use caster as well. We're going to use some zest. You might want to wear gloves if you're really messy like me, because the blueberries stain your fingers. So we just need about, I don't know, however much you like really. I'm not going to use all of it. I actually love to add almond essence in here, but my kids, I don't think they'll eat it, so I'm being safe. And then just some lemon juice as well. And I'm just going to use enough lemon juice from about just half a lemon should be fine. I lie, I'm going to use the whole thing. May as well, less waste. That's the beauty of a blueberry pie. There's no exact science to it. Just grab a spoon, and then you'll also need 30 grams of corn flour. Just gonna give that a mix. And you just want to coat all the blueberries. So simple. Even the dough that I'm going to be making today, there's no need to refrigerate it. A lot of doughs you have to wait for about half an hour. And you can just use store-bought as well, which works just as well. It's what I usually use, to be honest. I've got time. That's that. So we're going to set this aside and we will make the dough. Okay, so I preheated my oven to 180 degrees Celsius. In my bowl, I'm going to put in 300 grams of flour. I have 2 tablespoons of sugar. And you'll want just about half a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 teaspoon. And you're going to give that a little whisk. The key to a good pie crust and a flaky pie crust is to have really, really cold utensils, butter, water, all of that. So that's why I use a metal bowl. I just find it's going to be the coldest bowl there. So I have 200 grams of vegan butter. I'm just gonna pop that in. This is from the fridge, so it's really, really cold. And I don't have a pastry blender. I've just always used forks and it works just as well. So I've actually had these in the freezer just to make it extra, extra cold. And all you're gonna do is just kind of crisscross them until the butter is pretty much evenly distributed. It should look, you don't want it too pebbly, but like the size of peas. This is really cold butter, so it's gonna take a little while. And then what I end up doing is I just use my hands, because you'll be here quite a while. A pastry blender is quite good, but for the amount of times I actually make pie, it's just not worth it. So I'm just gonna crumble the butter, squish it in my hands. Again, you can use gloves for this if you really want to. So you want your butter cubed. That will make it easier to mix as well. You do not want to overmix the dough. That is definitely a very important step of pie dough, because leaving those little chunks of butter in the mix, that's what makes and provides the flakiness. That, and also having the butter really cold. I've just got a few larger chunks that I want to break up. That's that. You'd rather have lumps of butter showing. It's not a bad thing. Okay, I feel like if I do any more, I'll be overdoing it, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I have actually put my butter, my cold water in the freezer. The tap water is very cold, but just to give it that extra coldness, I just pop it in the freezer for a few minutes. Right, so I've had some water chilling in the freezer, and I need about 3 tablespoons, but I'm just gonna add 2 tablespoons first. I don't want too much water. Sometimes you'll need more, sometimes you'll need less, so you just got to keep your eye on it. In this case, I'm definitely going to need some more. Okay, it's almost there. I might add a tad more. It's just a little bit more crumbly than I'd like. So I'm not even gonna put a full tablespoon in there. So as soon as the dough can come together, that's it. That's all you need. You do not want to overmix it, because then you'll be developing the gluten too much, and that will make a really tough crust. Right, so that is perfect. That is exactly how I want it. Just gonna form it into a bowl. So this is the part where you generally wrap it up in cling film and you put it in the fridge to chill even more. But I'm gonna skip that step. This recipe, it's totally fine to do that for. So what I'm gonna do is I've got a clean tea towel and I'm going to roll out just half of this. Let me just, again, you don't need to be precise as long as you've got enough to cover your base. So I'm going to keep that to the side. Give that a quick wipe. So I've got my tea towel. Just gonna do that there. Gonna grab a handful of flour. If you don't want to get your tea towels messed up, you might want to just get a nice old one. Just gotta find a rolling pin. Sometimes I use a wine bottle if I can't find a rolling pin. Got plenty of those around. And even to chill your wine bottle, that's even better. Okay, just gonna sprinkle more flour in there. And the reason I'm doing it on the tea towel is that it'll be easier to lift over onto the pie. So now, the tricky part. Just gonna put my pie plate upside down. And then just do that. There we go. Now all you want to do is ease that in and just, whoops, move that all to the top of the plate. Pretty sure, mine is a deep dish here, so you can use a smaller dish. And this is great for freezing as well if you've made too much. I'm not even gonna worry too much about having it all over the sides because I'm going to actually be putting a lattice on top. So that will cover these little bits that are missing some dough. Because I don't want to make it too thin in certain places. And it also gives a more rustic feel to the pie. Okay, so I'm just gonna use my knife. And just go around. Right, so I'm gonna set that aside. And I'm gonna make, actually, I'm not, I'm gonna, what I'm gonna do here is fill that, and you want to make sure you get all the juice. Probably best having a spatula for this. If I can find one, but I cannot. Oh, got one. Right, let me get all that goodness in there. Right. Oh, it's just so beautiful. You can't beat that. Oh, stunning. I'm so excited. I've actually planted a pink blueberry bush, so I've never seen that before. Right, so now we'll set that aside and we'll work on the lattice. Okay, so I've decided I'm just gonna roll a sausage. Yo, I don't even know what I'm doing. That's the beauty of the pies, though. That's too thick. Oh, almost lost that. Again, I'm gonna put a bit of milk all around there. I'm making mine super rustic. It's not gonna be the prettiest thing you've ever seen, but no, I'm not doing that either, guys. Don't like it. I've just put another, I'm going with the crimp to look after all. I'm running out of time. I've got dinner to get on. So all I did was I rolled out another piece of pie dough just to fit the circumference of the pie. Just gonna use my fork. And then cut off the rest. There you go. Nothing fancy, but it will be delicious. And if you want to do anything with the extras, this will be quite tough now because it's been handled quite a bit. Just gonna roll it out. I had something else in my head. You know when you've got it in your head about how you want it to look, and then it doesn't come out that way. That's all right. We'll work with it. I've looked everywhere. This is gonna take an age. No, I'm good. I really need to invest in a pastry brush. I don't like the silicone ones. I don't think they work as well. And then I find that the other ones, the hair always comes out on them, like the bristles, and it looks so gross. I think that's my problem. I have never found a good quality one, so now we're working with craft brushes. The milk will just give it a nice golden brown touch to it. And then, do you know, I might sprinkle some sugar over it. because I can. I think that might look nice. All right. I mean, it's rustic AF, but I think my little boy will be happy with it. I promised him I'd make him a blueberry pie. I think I've got everywhere. Right. Just a bit of sugar. A lot of sugar. Gorgeous. And that's gonna go in the oven for about an hour.